Hello. Great morning, great afternoon, great evening. Whenever you're viewing this video, I thank God for you as usual. I am so grateful to you. And I want to talk to you quickly about this very important topic. Every topic I come with, I truly believe the Lord is the one who placed it in my spirit. And so I share it with you. And I want to talk about the fact that we need to not neglect the mind. We know that the mind is a battlefield for the enemy. As a matter of fact, this September is Suicide Prevention and Awareness Month. All right, and we're coming to the end of September, but this is a subject, a topic that we all need to be aware of every single day because, as you all know, and as you've all experienced, stress is real, overwhelm is real. And yesterday I was doing this exam. I started doing this other certification in mental health, youth mental health. And it's so much, and I'm like, my plate is so full. And I remember when I was doing the first test, because it's about 45 tests that I have to do throughout the entire course. And I said to myself, God, why am I putting myself through this? Again, why am I putting myself through this? But I know it's something I have to do. But I'm talking myself through it, and it's so good. I absolutely love it. But when I see the started test, the amount of tests again, I'm like, man, why am I putting myself through this? But I'm so glad that I'm one of those people who persevere. If I put my mind to do something, I'm going to do it, regardless of what. I'm going to push through. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm enjoying it. I love the topic because this is what God has placed in my spirit to do. And I tell you how God has a sense of humor. When I got off that exam, and I finished that exam and was doing something else, I just put on my phone, and a friend of mine had sent me a video, and I was looking at it for the first time, all right, in a couple of days. And it had to do with a young lady by the name of Tyra Spalding. And it was a video showing her, an hour-long video showing her actually calling out for help. This was a young woman who was she was a former beauty contestant in the 2023 Miss Universe Jamaica pageant. Beautiful young woman. And so she was there talking about the fact that she didn't feel like living. She wanted to die. She didn't feel like going on. She can't see the meaning of life. 1 hour of it. This was a woman crying out for help. She was crying out for help. As a matter of fact, she mentioned that in another video that she attempted suicide years ago when she had lost her job or quit her job or whatever she did. Afterwards, she was suicidal. And so mental health and suicide is a very complex topic. It's a complex issue, and even though it has a tragic end when folks are successful, the stories are unique to each individual. That is why it is so important that we listen to those who are really going through, listen to their story. It is not for us to judge, it's not for us to agree or disagree. It is just to listen to their story. Some people just need someone to talk to, someone who they know that the person care about them, the person sees them as significant, the person is not looking at them as weak and stupid, but they're there to listen. We need to listen because we need to be aware of the fact that it can happen to anybody. Stress is real, overwhelm is real, and everybody has a different level of threshold. And some people are more fragile. It is just a reality, right? We have different strengths in our physical makeup. Some people are stronger than others. It's the same thing with the mind. We're mind, body, and soul. This is a complete package. Mind, body, and soul. We don't get to put our head one side and our body one side and say, okay, well, we can handle the body this way, but the mind, we don't care about the mind. No, the mind is what drives the entire body. When your mind is in the right place and you're really thinking in a logical, healthy manner, that is what creates the wholeness of a human being. Because without the mind, we're confused, we're frustrated, we're out of sync, and all of that. And so we need to be aware that there are people who are going to go through these difficulties. And all of us are there's a continuum. Okay, you have health, you have the continuum, the middle portion, and then you have the section where people are just not healthy, and then you have another section where people are in that area where we diagnose it as disorder. But the reality is that we're on the continuum, so we can't judge, because at any moment, based on what the circumstances are in your life, whether it's grief or divorce or financial disruption and you can't see your way out, you can go over. okay, into the illness section. Put it that way. I just want to make it simple so you can get it. And so and it can happen to anybody. It's not for us to judge. She was crying out for help, but no one was there to even engage her. She had a boss that year. She talked to the boss and told the boss at one point that she was going to quit and she was going to just commit it. She was going to suicide. We don't say commit in my training. She was going to suicide, and he helped her. He tried to help her, in his way, but she needed more than that. She needed therapy. She needed prayers. She was a confused woman, and I don't know the origin of her issue. And I'm praying it was not like a spiritual attack, because the reality is there's so people can be targeted in the spiritual realm to mess up their mind. It is a reality. However, whatever it is, prayer is important. But there are times when you need medication. There are times when you need help. You need to talk to somebody. All right? And so it's good to not be isolated. It seems like she was always isolated. I'm looking at her videos, and she was always isolated, doing her own thing, just talking about not wanting to live. But in one of the videos, she said there was a war, a fight. She's going through a fight of her life, because 1 minute she wanted to die, but there's another side of her that is saying that she needs to live. So you can see the struggle that was going on with her. Unfortunately, she suicided a couple of days ago. But there was a war going on, because all her videos, it's like she was chronicling her experience. And I believe it's going to help a whole lot of people, because there's some people just don't think about it. They think it can happen over there to somebody else, but it cannot happen to them. It cannot happen to their families. They think that it just won't happen over here. And I've seen it so many times when it happened over here. Okay? It happened right within the home. So it can happen to anybody. Nobody is immune. It doesn't matter how rich, how affluent or not affluent you are. Suicide does not care. Mental illness does not care. It will come knocking at your door given the right circumstances. We hear this saying that it was a straw that broke the camel's back. Yes, you can be going through a whole lot of stuff, and one thing happened and you just go over the edge. So we don't need to be pointing fingers. We don't need to be judging. I read under one of the comments on one of her videos, said that something about to the effect that, maybe she was trying to be like Cardi B and Rihanna, to be like that. No, because you have ambition, that doesn't mean you want to be like these people. And these are the statements that keep people in their silent pain. Ignorant statements like this keep people from even talking that they are struggling, that they're in pain, mental pain and anguish, because of stupid comments from people. Ignorant comments. Things like this, you judge them, they're weak. No, everybody's at a different threshold, but sometimes all it takes is just somebody to listen to them. Sometimes all it takes is somebody for them to know that somebody cares, and they can talk to you, and they can trust you. Because trust is important, whether outside of the church or in the church. I have a big thing with confidentiality. When people come and they can't even confide in you that they're in pain, especially if we're in the house of God. There needs to be confidentiality, so people can trust you, so they can open and get the result, the deliverance that they need. If someone tells you that they want to suicide, believe them. It's not for you to judge and say, oh, you don't mean it. Why? The person is saying that they want to suicide. The Bible says, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speak. So for somebody to get to that point where they voice it, it means that they're serious. They're seriously thinking about it. They're seriously thinking about it. I've been in so many trainings where people have talked about the fact that somebody said they're going to suicide, and they didn't take them seriously. I know, guess what? The person suicided, and so they're living in remorse, regret. They could have done something. They just didn't think. You don't want that to happen to you. If they say they're going to suicide, other times when people do not do anything, it's because they really don't know what to do. And I understand that. But don't think that just ignoring it is going to let it go away. No. Reach out to somebody else who has some experience in this. Reach out to them, but don't just ignore it and think it's going to go away. It doesn't disappear, because it means that it's there building up in their mind and in their spirit and in that space. And if nothing is done, they're going to just go over. They're going to think that there is no hope. But there is never any hopeless situation. It's just that people have lost hope in their situation. I'm going to say it again. There's no hopeless situation. It doesn't matter how dark it looks. It's not hopeless. It's just that you have lost hope in the situation. So there's always a way of escape. There's always a way out. There's always somebody who wants to listen. Even if the people around you that you know do not want to hear you, trust me, there's somebody else who would love to hear what you're going through and be able to extend a helping hand. More people need to be aware. More people need to be aware of the signs that can lead to this tragic end of suicide. Or when you see somebody going through, you need to know the signs of what is going on. I'm not saying everybody's going to be an expert, but at least be aware. And I'm here to bring awareness. I'm an intercessor minding my own business, and God called me into this space. So it means that there is a spiritual component to it. Okay? There's a spiritual component, and prayer always works. Okay? So if we have the faith to believe, everybody who gets depressed is not necessarily suicidal. And I want to say that as a trainer, everybody who is depressed is not necessarily suicidal. But it's important to have support in any case. It's important to reach out to somebody and not be in that space of depression and taking it on every day, pulling your curtains, being in the dark place. That's not healthy. So you need to reach out to somebody. Because if you keep in that space, in that state of darkness, eventually you're going to feel like, what's the use? I might as well just end it. And that is why a lot of people say, I might as well just end it. Because the longer you stay in that space of darkness, is the more you feel like, well, there's no hope. And those are openings. That is when the enemy loves to see when a human being is in that position. Because guess what? It's an open invitation for him to come in. Because then he starts telling you, why bother? Don't you see nobody cares? Why are you here? You're a burden. You're this. Your life is not going anywhere. And all these things will come. These thoughts will come because you're thinking it, and then the enemy just magnifies it. My heart goes out to this lady. But you know what? Last year, I actually spoke at a funeral. This young lady was 23 years of age. 23 years of age, college graduate. Very promising, has a very promising future. And, but she just thought that life was not going the way it ought to go. She just thought that it was just too much struggle. She just thought that, well, she's educated and she's a hard worker and she has been working for so long. Nothing is happening that she, had anticipated would happen. It's just taking too long, and she got tired, and she took her life. 23. It's no judgment. Everybody has a threshold. Everybody has a threshold. So it's not for us to judge and to label people and mislabel people, because we're all created in the image of God, and God has a plan for us. It's good and it's not evil. So when this happens, it's just the enemy that comes in to help magnify the problem and to take people out. So we don't need to be like that. We need to be each other's advocates. We need to be aware. My. Suicide is never the answer. But that is what some people feel like this is the only way they can get some relief, unfortunately. So we need to be more aware so we can help more people not be in that place, or let them know that there is hope. There is hope. They don't really want to die. They just don't know how to live because the pain is so intense. And there's only two reasons why people suicide. Two reasons. It's either pain, significant pain because of what they experience and what is going on in their lives, or a loss, significant loss that they just spiral into this dark place where they feel like this is it. I don't want to go on anymore. Kevin Hines is a gentleman who years ago he was in such pain and darkness that he wanted to suicide. So he went to the Golden Gate Bridge, and he was there, and he was saying, if just one person had just said something to him, he probably would have not suicided or tried to suicide. Right? And so he was there thinking, standing up on this bridge. And as a matter of fact, the tourist came and handed him her camera and said, take a picture of me. And so, nobody saw that he was crying. Nobody saw that he was distressed. She said to take a picture, and he took the picture, and the person was happy, and they went on her merry way. And shortly after that, I guess, he jumped. He jumped off the bridge. And he said the moment that he jumped, he knew he had made a mistake. He knew the moment he jumped. You see how wicked Satan is? The moment he jumped, he knew it was a mistake. But it was too late. He was spiraling down into the water, the cold water. He was one of the very few people. I think it was very few people. Many people have jumped off that bridge, but only few people have survived. Him, and I'm not sure how many others. I'd have to go get the number. But he survived. And I'm talking about him. So he survived. He jumped, he survived, and all his little miracles were there. I think a seal was what he was able to hold on to. So a lion seal, sea lion, I'm sorry, came and was circling, and that was what helped him. And somebody saw him jump and called somebody who they knew in emergency, a coast guard that they knew, and the coast guard was there quickly, so he didn't freeze, and he came out. And so now he is a motivational speaker, just encouraging folks all over that suicide is not the answer. It doesn't have to be your end. So I thank God for Kevin. He survived. But Tyra Spalding did not make it. And so I'm just praying that, her life and the videos that she made and her cry for help will help somebody else who is going through, and they'll realize, what, this is not the answer. And I just wanted to share this today. But there are some signs. I want to leave some signs. Signs that somebody is in danger. I want to leave this with you today. Isolation is one of them. Somebody who is jovial, who is always out there. This woman was in a pageant. She couldn't have been one of those recluse. No. So isolation is one of the signs, okay? Frustration. They're frustrated about life. They're wondering what life is all about. And we all question things. I'm not saying if you're doing that you're suicidal. No, I'm just giving you some signs that you need to look into. When you see this, don't just assume that everything is okay. It's good to talk to the person and ask and find out where they are mentally, what's going on with them. So frustration is a big thing. When they're feeling like, why bother? Life is not going the way it should go. Why am I here? I'm just here taking up space. So when I hear that type of conversation, I'm just a burden. I'm a burden. Nobody really cares for me. This world would be better off without me. My children would be better off without me. My family would be better off. Why am I here? It's when you hear that type of talk, don't take it lightly. When somebody has attempted suicide years ago, the statistic is that if they had tried years ago, more than likely they'll try again. So it's something to look into and not negate it and think, well, okay, that's it forever. No. If you see signs and you know that they had this problem previously, don't ignore it. All right. Another thing is that she mentioned in her video that she was not bathing. She said when she went to the gym, she had not bathed in days. She didn't brush her teeth. She had not bathed in days. That is serious depression. Okay, because hygiene is one of the things you do when you're in a good mental state. You don't want to smell. You don't want people to come out beside you and smell. You want to bathe. You want to take care of yourself. That is a good sign, okay, that you're mentally well. And also the fact that she was talking about, the fact that she wanted to suicide. That is so obvious. Okay, that's an obvious sign. Don't say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. No, they say they want to suicide. Take it seriously. And try and get help. Get help. Try in this line. Get help. Call somebody. Call a hotline. Call family, friends. And it's good to have a community around you. Healthy community. Family and friends. Healthy community. Somebody you can talk to and let them know what is going on. Because then you have that support. And then somebody can reach out for you if you're not strong enough to get the help that you need. Because let me tell you something. The Lord wants to use you mightily. The Lord wants to use you mightily, but if you're not mindful of what is going on in your mind, which is where the enemy plays and has all these games, then you won't be of use to yourself or to the nation or your family or anybody around you. And so I just want to encourage you to be mindful of your mind and what's going on in your mind and how you're feeling. Do you need to de-stress? Do you need to do something that make you laugh? Do you need to just push back from social media and all these things that's going on and all the bills and all of that that's going on and just take some time for yourself to just breathe. Take some time to love on you. Take some time to just look in the mirror and say, I am who God say I am. I am the head and not the tail. God, I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. God, I thank you, oh God, that my hands are blessed. I thank you, God, that you have a plan and a purpose for me, God. The same way you had a plan for Jeremiah. He said, before you was formed in your mother's belly, you knew him. The same way God knew Jeremiah, God knew you. He knows you. Every strand of hair on your head is numbered. My God, your name is tattooed in the palm of God's hand. You are special to God. You're significant. He loves you everlastingly. So regardless of the challenges, don't let that define you. Regardless of what people say about you, do not let that define you. What is God saying about you? That is all you care about. Everything else is secondary, okay? So we just thank God today that you are alive and that you're seeing this video. And I pray that you share it with somebody else, because I'm telling you, when stress takes people. Sometimes the first thing that comes to your mind is, I don't need to be here. No. You need to be here because you need to be strong and go through what you're going through so you can help somebody else. We're not here for ourselves. We're not supposed to be selfish. We're here to help somebody else. So whatever you have gone through, you can be a help to somebody else. I'm telling you, to God be the glory. To God be the glory. I pray that you're encouraged. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't, because this is a blend of the spiritual and the mental. Okay, mental health and the intercessory component that God has downloaded in me is going to be here. I didn't want to have 2, 3, 4 channels about the same thing, because the reality is that you can prayer works. The reality is that there can be warfare. Okay, and so you need to know the difference, be discerning. So be aware of what's going on, know the signs, read, and be a help to somebody else. God bless and keep you. May His face continue to shine upon you and be gracious unto you, and grant you His peace now and forevermore. God bless you. Much love to you. Amen. God bless.